All right. How's everyone feeling today, firstly? It's very quiet out in the audience, okay? Listen, I was really excited to come and talk today because why? I was listening to all these inspirational people that were going to come, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, as soon as the talk is finished from myself, I'm going to be sitting in the front there and listening to everybody's story. So I was really excited to hear all the rest of the 8 people that are going to be here with me. But you are actually in luck. Now, you didn't know that you actually have got 12 people, 12 inspirational people that you are going to meet today. I'm just the first, but I'm going to introduce you to another 5. Are you excited? Yes, it's pretty quiet, like I said in the crowd. Are you excited? Awesome. Okay, that's what we want to hear. All right, so the first person that I would love to introduce you to today is Lachipa. Lachipa Naluvo. Now, for those people that know Lachipa, Lachipa is actually a renowned sports psychologist here in Fiji. Now, Lachipa, she's very well known in her field. She's also an administrator at the Faculty of Law at the University of the South Pacific. She's a dedicated mother of 2. And in addition to that, she has got a degree in psychology as well as her postgraduate as well. So that's the first very inspiring lady. The next person I'd like to introduce you to today, here we go, is Elena McDonald. A familiar face? Yes, okay, you probably know this person. Now, Elena McDonald was actually a former sports journalist for FBC TV. She is now the current operations manager for the Fiji Sports Council. The next person I would love to introduce you today is Sirima Lewingilla. Now, this young lady is very inspiring, okay? So after she had actually gone to New Zealand to do her education, she returned here to Fiji. And here in Fiji, she wanted to pursue a Bachelor of Science. Now, unfortunately, her mother passed away, so she decided to change and go for a career. When she went for a career, she went into the financial sector. And when she went into the financial sector, she started up with Westpac Bank in Suva, where she is the current operations officer, and she's looking after consumer loans processing systems unit in Suva. The next person that we have here today, Harold's from here in Lautoka. Now, Litia Builailai, she is actually the sales and marketing manager for FMF. And the last but not least person, the youngest person on our list, is Lysa Jordan, or Lysa Tanga. Now, Lysa here is an upcoming medical star. She's currently going through and doing her nursing degree also. Now, you're probably thinking, why are you telling us about these 5 people? We may know some, we may not know some, but why are you telling us this? Okay? The reason why I'm telling you all this is because they all share a commonality. They share a commonality with me and every other person that I just actually put up on that screen. Now, the commonality is they share a love for a pitch, which is about 70 meters by 100 meters. If we're lucky, there is grass on that pitch. If we're unlucky, then that pitch is baked hard as cement, okay? Or if we're unlucky, because sometimes we'll be down in Suva, it'll be full of puddles and mud and we'll get dirty, okay? And the main reason why we're going on to this pitch is because of the love of an oval ball and getting that past the try line. Now, I know you all know what I'm talking about. What am I talking about? Rugby, that's right. I am talking about none other than rugby. Because every single person that I just introduced you to, Lachipa, Elena, Sirima, Litia, and also Lysa, are either former or current members of the Fiji national rugby team, known as Fijiana. Do what makes you happy. And that sounds pretty easy, right? Right? Yeah, it sounds easy, but really it's not, okay? Now, what would happen if the thing that you love to do is against the cultural or social norms, okay? What if the thing that you love to do, people will say to you that you shouldn't be doing that because you're just a girl, that you should be back in the kitchen? Do you think that that should stop you from doing that thing that you're passionate about, the thing that you love to do? Should that stop you? Should you listen to other people? My answer to every single person in this room is heck no, okay? You should not listen to these people. If it's something that really inspires you, that you feel a passion for, that you are enjoying, that you're having fun, and that you're doing something that's good, why stop? And I'm so pleased to be able to stand up here and introduce you to those 5 people that did do the exact same thing. Now, people in Fiji, there is also always a certain stigma which is associated with women's rugby players. You know, the first thing that they all usually think about is, one, we are all part of a certain sexual orientation. Secondly, that we're butch, that we're tomboys, that we want to be men. You know, they think that we're all like that. The 5 people that I just introduced you to, and even myself, you know, we are not like that, okay? The times are changing here in Fiji, all right? Women rugby players are just like you and me. We are pursuing something that we love to do, that we have fun doing as well. Now, when I first started playing rugby was back in Australia, okay? Now, as a young girl growing up in rugby, how I got into it is because my dad is a former rep for Australia, and he played rugby back in Australia. So as a young kid, me and my sister, because there was no boys in our family at the time, our dad used to take us down to the rugby field, and we used to go out and we'd be out, he'd teach us how to tackle each other and whatnot when we were about this high. Okay, so that's how our passion started. We had a connection with our dad to go through and start playing rugby. Now, in Australia, you really have the freedom to be able to go and pursue any sport that you want to, because there's a lot of opportunities for you as a kid. You can either go and play netball, you can play soccer, you can do athletics, gymnastics, or you can strap on your rugby boots, head down to the field and just go and play rugby, okay? Now, that's what I did. I love playing rugby. I did go through and play other sports, and I was good at some of the other sports as well. But nothing really ignited that passion within me, that excitement, that sense of belonging and fun like rugby did. Okay, so skip forward a couple of years, I was actually offered a job opportunity to come across here to Fiji. Now, here in Fiji, one of the main things that I noticed when I first came across is, where are the rugby teams? There's no rugby teams, especially out here in the Western Division. So because I still had that passion, I still wanted to play, I actually went down to my local field, and there was a men's team training on the field, okay? So here is this girl walking up where all the men are on that rugby field, and I asked to go and train with these boys, okay? One, because I wanted to keep my fitness up, and secondly, because I didn't want to let my skill set drop as well. And thank goodness they actually accepted me to come onto the rugby field. I could tell by some of their faces that they're looking at me and going, oh my gosh, what is this lady doing? Why is she walking on this field? But, you know, I just said hi and smiled and okay, now come on, I'm going to tackle you right now. Okay, let's go. So, you know, we went and started doing the training. But, you know, in all honesty, rugby is not about one player, okay? There is, in my sport, which is 15s, another 14 other players that need to be by your side for you to have a rugby game. And of course, you know, your opposition and so forth. But, you know, when I went there and I was like, okay, look, you know, there's no women's rugby teams here in the West. What are we going to do about it? Am I going to sit idle and stand by and say, hey, you know, this thing that I want to do, that I enjoy and I have fun doing it, am I just going to let it go by the wayside? No, you make a difference. That's when we formed the Nandi Blazers Women's Rugby Club. Now, the Nandi Blazers Women's Rugby Club was really an opportunity for the people here in the West to be able to, especially the women, to try something a little bit different, enjoy a sport that maybe they hadn't actually gotten used to, and basically to have fun, get fit, and stay healthy, okay? But starting a rugby team and being a rugby player doesn't come without its challenges. Now, there was a recent study done by the University of the South Pacific by Dr. James Johnson and Dr. Yoko as well, who actually went out and interviewed the registered players within the country. And they actually came up with some very interesting facts. Now, there's 3 top reasons, but I'm going to give you 4 today, of why people are a little bit conscious about playing rugby. The first thing that people think about when they're playing rugby is, what is the community going to think about it? Because let's face it, rugby is a male-dominated sport. And here in Fiji, because of our cultural traditions and history and so forth, women, we have our set roles within the country as well. So firstly, they're worried about disapproval from the community at whole and also their own families. Also in terms of disapproval from and ridicule by men. The stigma, as I mentioned, in terms of the sexual orientation, and also gender inequality at an institutional level. So, as I said, yeah, rugby is a male-dominated sport. And to what we did to combat that first barrier is, we actually came through and we wanted to create a safe environment for all the rugby players here in the West, that they could come to our club and do that. Okay, so what we actually did was we wanted to go out and break the barrier. We actually set up our club, and we had actually strict rules that we enforce with each and every one of our players that want to come and play, because we want to ensure that they're protected on and off the field. The first thing that we go out and do is we actually have an agreement that we give to each and every player that comes to the Nandi Blazers Rugby Club. And with these rules is in terms of strictly no drinking, no smoking, looking after their health and also their performance on the field, even in terms of down to the nitty-gritty of no dating within the club. Whether you are from the president, the coach, the player, no dating that goes on into the club, okay? And of course, time management, because it's very important, and it's a good life skill to have both as a player on and off the field in your personal life too. So we then had players that came to us and said, listen, you know, our parents are telling us that we are girls. We can't go out and play rugby because we shouldn't be out there. So when we actually, what we did is we went and started meeting players. We had this really promising upcoming player, and she was telling us that her parents told her that they thought she was a joke. She's a joke to go onto the rugby field. It's embarrassing for her to go out there in front of all of her family and friends. So we went and spoke to the parents and explained to them what we're all about as rugby players, as the club. And they actually thought, okay, let's give it a go for her. They went out, and she was actually, we travel quite a lot, Samoa, New Caledonia, Australia, as a club to go and play. And she was actually one of those players that was able to step up, go and play in Samoa in the next test match. And then also she went on, trained and continued, and then she's now actually wearing the white jersey. You know, so now her parents look back and go, wow, you know, that's our daughter. They sit back and they're proud of her, you know, which is really a great thing. As I said, ridicule, we come against ridicule, especially from men. When we used to start out playing rugby, it wasn't uncommon when we'd go out onto the rugby field and, you know, some snide comments, hey, you know, and all the different things as well. So, you know, we'd go out there, and if you did something wrong, like knock on or, you know, whatever, made a mistake in the game, so we would just get ridiculed, you know. It got to the point where even in some places in Fiji, when our teams, clubs, wherever we may be in Fiji, there has been stories when the girls, although they may be playing in that field for a number of years, that they have new men's teams that come onto the field, and they tell them to get off the field. They don't belong here. Go home. You shouldn't be training here. So they tell them to leave. They tell them if you don't go, they'll start swearing at them, threatening violence, even to the point of getting in cars and hitting girls. You know, what is the point of that? When girls, all we want to do is play a sport that we enjoy, right? So as I said, the next point that I mentioned previously is that there's a certain stigma that's associated that people that play rugby are a part of a certain sexual orientation. You know, I am telling you straight today, we women rugby players, we are not all gay. Okay? Contrary to what people believe, all right? We are not all gay. I've got a lot of gay friends and I have nothing against it, but we aren't all gay. We're just women, you and me, and we just go and play the sport that we love, okay? In addition to that, when I get girls that come up to me and they say to me, Lailanie, you know, what can I do to stop people asking me if I'm gay? you know? And what if I go onto the rugby field and I just want to be myself? I want to put bows in my hair. I just want to put makeup on and go. And I tell them, hey, if you want to do that, go and do it. Don't stop anyone, or don't let anyone put you into a persona or into a box for you to stop doing what you want to do. If you want to go on the rugby field and have bows in your hair, do it. You want to wear lipstick and go and do it? Go and do it as well, okay? Don't let anyone put you in a box. And when you get off the field, if you want to doll up with your makeup on and your hair done and your heels on, then hey, go and do that as well. I just wanted to share two more things with you. Why do I play rugby? Okay? Why do I play rugby? It's because it's my happy place. Okay? That's my happy place. At the end of the day, if I could play rugby full time, I would do it. Okay? Because why? It's something that I enjoy to do. It is my stress release after a hard day of work, that I can go out on the rugby field, go and be with my sisters, where we will cry, where we'll laugh, where we will get down and dirty together. At the end of the day, we're together and we call ourselves sisters and a family. We have that bond and we belong. Okay? So my takeaways for everyone today is it's okay to be different. All right? If you enjoy something, don't worry about what the greater community will say about you, okay? It's okay to be different. Do what you enjoy, even if it's against the grain of normality. And for everyone that's here, open to your mind. So open your mind and don't be so quick to judge. Whether people want to play rugby, whether boys want to play netball, it's sports. Let them go out and give them the chance. For us, we got to grow a thick skin. Don't let naysayers get to you. People will always talk, and it's okay for them to talk, but it's not okay to let their negative words affect your decisions. Show no fear. Be bold. Why? Because fear only limits your life. Make no excuses. If you want something bad enough, man up, go and do it. People always say to you that there's light at the end of every tunnel. I'm sorry, the light's there, but I'm going to run down there and find that light myself, okay? And lastly, be disciplined. After all, the choices that you make now will affect your future and what you'll achieve.